Witness the fight the boxing world has been waiting for on Netflix. Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford face off for the first time in their legendary careers for the Super Middleweight Championship in Las Vegas. The winner will walk away the greatest of their era. Watch Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford Saturday, September 13th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Live only on Netflix.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
We're recording this on 9/11, a very important day for anniversaries in this country. 24 years ago, Jay-Z dropped the blueprint.
9/11?
9/11.
That's right, he did.
And 18 years ago, Kanye dropped Graduation.
Classics. That's still my favorite Kanye album.
That's my favorite Kanye album.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, no
exactly.
doubt.
My favorite one, too.
Where were you at when the towers collapsed?
I was in school. The fuck? It was a Tuesday.
I thought you were out raising a family back. Yeah, okay, I guess. Thought you were like 25-year-old.
No, nigga. I was like 16 years old, I think.
Thought you were about 25 years old, man.
I turned... Obviously, my birthday is in October, but so I was still 15. I ain't turned 16 yet. I remember I was in algebra 2. Algebra 2 when they cut the TVs on in class and said, "Hey, some major shit is kicking off in New York." We didn't do no more schoolwork that day, which is good because I did not. We were supposed to have a test in algebra 2, and I did not have it. I didn't set up who I was gonna cheat off of. I was like, "Nah, it's not gonna be a good day for me." It didn't work. It worked out not to be a good day for a lot of people, unless you like classic hip hop.
I like classic hip hop, but I was rooting for Nas though. So when the takeover dropped, I was waiting for Nas to fight back. Jay-Z definitely did damage and he destroyed Mobb Deep with that one. Rest in peace, Prodigy.
Yeah, he definitely had a headshot with Takeover. Segue for later. It's getting cooler outside. 9/11. Even though this week was in Chicago, the weather in Chicago wasn't too bad. I actually went to the Taste this past weekend, and I'm getting off the red line, and what do I see? It was a pack of dudes on their loud ass Harleys. I know they way older than me. I can just look at them. They got the gray beards, but they playing a song from my generation. They was blasting 3-piece. I'm like, well, that's the end of the summer right there. Like that one last freaky music ride from the old heads. 3-piece not a really freaky song, but you don't need to be playing that for the whole block to hear. You know what I'm saying?
You don't.
I love it, but I don't need to turn the corner and hear ooh ah. You know what I'm saying?
That is a classic for the Harleys and a classic for the slingshots. The slingshot is definitely freaky middle aged man music. They definitely bump it out of those slingshots though. All the '90s, R. Kelly, the Joe, all that you remind me of, all of that coming from those slingshots. I'm glad that's over with.
Yeah, I don't need to hear no more loud ass R. Kelly. R. Kelly put out a lot of great music, but come on now. Do you care that they switched up on the Taste of Chicago? I mean, coming up, it was always July 4th for like a week. Now this is just a weekend in September. You
Man, the
care about
Taste
that?
Chicago fell off so bad. I definitely care. Taste Chicago was a cornerstone of our youth. If you from Chicago, it was a reunion. It was an opportunity to gang bang. It was an opportunity to expand your roster. It was an opportunity to find that new little boo for cuffing season. So I'm definitely, when you bring a Taste Chicago, it brings up nostalgia. Now, obviously, I'm older, so none of that applies to me. But yeah, I think it still should be in the middle of the summer, though. Like, at the end of the summer, it's whack, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't back then. It wasn't the cuffing season intro. It was more so like, yeah, I'm finna have
You're
fun
right.
this
You're
summer.
right. You're right.
Was you one of them that had the little notebook in your back pocket, notebook and a pen to get the numbers? Because this is before
Oh,
cell phones. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, cell phones were there, but you had to have money, and they weren't your primary use of communication. I remember the pen and the paper, though. Yeah, old fashioned Mac.
Yeah, I pop my head in up there for a little bit. It's not the same. I don't know none of these restaurants. It ain't no real. It ain't the Harrows up there. It ain't Kurt's up there.
I
It
didn't
ain't
recognize none of
really.
them. Were
No,
any of
it
them
ain't
good?
what it.
Were any of them?
Oh, I ain't paying them prices. I just did a walkthrough. I ain't paying them prices. I catch you at the shop. You know what I'm saying? I get to put a regular. I ain't a tourist. I'm here. I'm from here. I get it. I get it I get it for real. You know what I'm saying? I ain't paying the tourist price. That's the tax for them. But now that they moved it to where it is now around Labor Day, it is an intro to cuffing season. And now we are getting to that time of the year where you gotta get comfortable. You gotta start trying out now. You gotta get your main score. You want to sign that max player so you can have them for the championship in February when V-Day and all the other stuff start popping around. All that stuff. You want to keep it warm. No,
I have to update you. I have to update one thing on that cuffing season and fantasy related. Um, I am back with Kyle Pitts. He is back on my roster. Think it's meant to be.
I'm gonna
Kyle
drag you
finally
for that. Yeah.
Kyle Pitts finally gonna get his act together. Speaking of cuffing season, yeah, he's back with the team.
That's a whole nother episode because you need to be excoriated for this Kyle Pitts thing you keep doing. But you ain't the only person that's doing cuffing season with the football. The Bears are trying to settle down with Arlington Heights. They low key made it official the other day. Kevin Warren low key made it official the other day. When he made that a post, Arlington Heights has been in the news a lot the last 48 hours. It's different. The restaurants definitely ain't the same. It ain't the week-long event, and you gotta keep your head on the swivel at these outdoor events. Now you never know what's creeping up in these tall buildings.
Yeah, you mentioned Arlington Heights and the Bears making it official with Arlington Heights. Arlington Heights just lost a legend, depending on who you talk to, what side you from. Some may call him a legend. Others may say
Infamous.
good riddance.
What are we gonna say?
I'm gonna say good riddance. I'm gonna let you know right now.
Arlington Heights lost a resident, but they might be gaining 53 of them if you ask Kevin Warren. But let's get into the football. Q. Last thing we're gonna talk about from week 1. What is the one thing the Bears should have done?
They should have gone for the jugular and closed that game out. Shout out Charlie Kirk. He would have wanted the Bears to do that. That's what he would have wanted. He wanted for the Bears to go for the jugular. And Bears, you all got to stop this. That man's last podcast was you ruined his week. he didn't know what was coming to him the rest of the week. This country is a big proponent of freedom of speech, and I'm going to exercise my right to freedom of speech. Charlie would have wanted this.
It might work out for him because he don't have to debate about whether or not the Bears are going to beat the Lions.
No one will beat him in that one.
Nope. But okay, other than the last thing coming out of that Bears game against the Vikings on Monday Night Football, Bears choked, obviously, and they got to turn the page. You got to turn the page very fast because the Lions had one more day of prep coming up to this game. They are aware of who's coming into the building. They are aware of the roster. They are aware of the coach. Let's start right there with who's actually going to be on the field. Let's talk about the injury report. The Bears have Kyler Gordon, Grady Jarrett, TJ Edwards, Josh Blackwell, Roshan Johnson, Jediah White, DJ Moore, and Jalen Johnson on their injury report. Detroit Lions have Taylor Decker, Trevor Nowalski, Sion Vaki, Terrion Arnold, Jack Campbell, and Daniel Thomas on theirs. First thing that's important about that, Kyler Gordon, Grady Jarrett, they notched DNPs both Wednesday and Thursday. Jalen Johnson, full participant both Wednesday and Thursday, and he tweeted today that he's playing. He's playing Sunday. TJ Edwards, I found this to be, I mean, with full participant, he better play.
Yeah.
Another thing that I found this curious, TJ Edwards, limited participation Wednesday and Thursday. So other names that I mentioned, Bears, Lions, whomever. Well, anything jump off the page to you with the guys on the injury report?
For the Bears, no Kyler Gordon really sucks. I think he's going to be really instrumental for our defense. For the Lions, Terrion Arnold, he's a pretty solid corner. I don't know who would be starting if he's not able to go, but you better take advantage of it because the drop off level from starter to backup cornerback in the NFL can be the difference in 6 points. A wide receiver easily beating a corner. So Terrion Arnold definitely jumps off the list to me. Who else did you say? Taylor Decker. That's the left tackle. That's Jared Goff's protecting his blind side. Ayo gets another chance. Ayo Odabengo gets another chance at going him up against a backup tackle. And I think he got a sack last game, didn't he? Or some good pressures. Did he get a sack? Did he get an official sack last week?
I don't think he had a sack. Ayo had 6 pressures last week. I think
okay.
Yeah,
I can't remember if he got home. Okay. Well, this is another chance. This is another chance to get home and earn that contract. So Taylor Decker definitely jumps off when you talk about the injury report for me.
He hasn't practiced Wednesday and Thursday with a shoulder injury, so that's a big revelation right there on the op side of the field. But for me, Grady Jarrett didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday as well. I don't expect Kyler Gordon to play. Obviously, based on this injury report, it is not looking like he's going to play. But Grady Jarrett, damn, bro, already?
I thought he was callous in the body.
Right. It says he's nursing a knee injury right now, so Friday would tell the tale on that.
He didn't even finish the Vikings game, did he? Did he finish the game?
I don't think we did. Which for me tells a lot of the story of how the Bears ended up letting the Vikings offense finally start clicking. We started just dropping, but we were missing too many bodies on defense. Right. Jordan Mason started to, gobble up yards, and then JJ McCarthy started having more time to start looking down the field. Yeah. Not taking anything away from the Vikings because the Bears definitely did choke. But when you consider the amount of bodies that the Bears had lost by that time we got to the midway of the fourth quarter, already came into the game without TJ. Already came into the game without Jalen. Already came into the game without Kyler. Ashawn Wright had to lead the game for a minute because of cramps. Grady Jarrett didn't finish. I mean, how much more? How much more do you want from me? You know what I'm saying?
It's too early. Yeah, Tyrese. It's too early. Sounded like Tyrese there. It's too early for these injuries to be piling up like this. We're not even at the midpoint of the season. These are concerning. These are troubling. Um, these threaten to derail the season early. So
Right.
definitely troubling with all the injuries.
Well, good thing is that Jalen Johnson is looking like he's going to play. We definitely need that. If we didn't have him, if we dodged the bullet with Jefferson, we can't risk that again with Amara St. Brown on one end and Jameson
On
Williams,
the
the
other
speedy
end,
Jameson Williams on the other. I don't think who would you match Jalen up with? Amara?
man, the Lions move Amon Ra around so much. He could be
And
in the. So
he's inside
this
a
is the
lot.
game. Yeah, this is a game I would prefer Kyler Gordon with his physicality, his
Mm-hmm.
ability to tackle. This is the game I want him more than Jalen because, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that Amon Ra is a physical. He breaks a lot of tackles. He will.
Mm-hmm.
You got to bring him to the grounds. This is a game I would want Kyler more than Jalen Johnson. Who would we match with Amon Ra? I don't know, Tyreek, but I mean, if there's a healthy Jalen, of course I'm going to go Jalen. But if Kyler was healthy, I almost think I would like Kyler matching up with Amon Ra more than I would want a Jalen Johnson.
But see, here's the thing. You got Jalen Johnson coming back from a groin, calf, and all the other stuff. Do you really want him on the outside following Jameson? Again, speedy
No,
Jameson Williams. I don't. I don't.
no.
I don't think that's the best look.
And one of the things we saw in Detroit last year was Tyreek Stevenson able to get under Jameson Williams, uh, seemed to get his head out the game. Now Jameson Williams came and put some belt to us in Soldier Field, but in that game in Detroit, Tyreek was able to draw on sportsmanlike conduct on him, get him frustrated. Jameson Williams didn't really have a big impact in that game. So, yeah, I wouldn't want Jalen matching up with Jameson Williams first week back off soft tissue, lower body injury. Leave that to Tyreek. And Tyreek, you got to give Jameson some cushion. Like, don't let him go behind you. Like, if he's even, he's leaving.
That's even he's leaving. But here's the thing though about Amon-Ra. He don't really break a lot of tackles. I mean, he catches the ball over the middle of the field, even though what does that even mean nowadays? I don't want to call him the Torrey Holt type, but I mean he's not going to do what DJ Moore does, who will fight for that extra yard. He ain't gonna do all that. But he'll catch the ball and it's the seam. Other than the injuries, both teams come into this game 0-1. The Lions come in looking like a different 0-1 than the Bears coming into this game. They got to 0-1 vastly different ways. But the loser of this game is not going to be happy with themselves, because if the Bears do, they blew one. If the Lions end up being 0-2, they definitely feeling like the world is crashing in on them. So the narratives are going to be different. So question time. What's the one thing the Bears need to clean up most to win this game and not be in another narrative circus?
First and foremost, pre-snap penalties. Do not beat yourself. If the Lions are just a better team on Sunday, so be it. They're a team coming off 15 wins. They're a team, even though they lost both coordinators, came in here with high expectations. The number one thing I want to see out of the Bears this Sunday at noon is to not beat yourself. Please let the other team do it. Don't beat off, bro. Let the Lions do it.
I had that written down too, Q. Pre-snap issues at home. If you have pre-snap issues at home, what do you imagine is going to be when you're on the road?
In a dome. And you're going to have to go on a silent count.
Yeah, no choice. Got to go on a silent count, which a lot of people believe might actually help this team. It might end up working in the Bears' favor. So I'm cautiously optimistic that the Bears could actually get some of that stink off of them for the pre-snap penalties. Jonah Jackson. Since you said pre-snap penalties, I'll answer the question for me. Jonah Jackson. He had the worst game for the Bears on Monday.
Terribly graded. Good live either.
It was a terrible game. In fact, the entire offensive line, from a run blocking perspective, they didn't have a good game. The defense, for the most part, was pretty good. So I'm going to single out Jonah Jackson and the rest of the offensive line. It is crucial to win that line of scrimmage battle. For this offense to work the way we think it's going to work, the Bears have got to start pushing guys instead of being pushed themselves. Yeah, we got to get DeAndre Swift into the game. He had a couple of nice runs, but nothing consistent. He only averaged 3 yards per carry, which is not good.
If DeAndre doesn't get it going, we got to see Kyle Monunga. It doesn't sound like Roshan is going to play again. That guy's been.
Does he ever play?
Good question. The run game just has to get going.
This is Ben Johnson's return to Detroit. We shall see if this is this is more of a heroic turn, or they're going to treat him like he's the villain. Probably more of the latter.
I expect him to get booed.
Yeah, I expect it to. The crowd is definitely going to be into it. So this offensive line has to be on their square. The 3 guys in the middle are vets, highly paid, and are former Pro Bowlers. I'm going to give them a mulligan for week 1, especially speaking to Jonah Jackson. This week, you got to shore that shit up. You got to do a complete 180. Jonah Jackson, you talked about this PFF grade, terrible. He lost 15 snaps according to PFF, 15 out of the 47 that he played. Can't do that again. The 2 sacks that Caleb took came from his gap, in addition to those pre-snap penalties. We got to fix that. That's probably, for me, the number one thing the Bears have to go into this game looking a lot better. Other than what you said, pre-snap penalties in addition to that. On the opposite side of the ball, the defensive line versus the Lions offensive line. We already said Taylor Decker's the left tackle. He's got a shoulder injury. He hasn't practiced all week. For me, watching that game against the Packers last week, the Lions didn't do a lot good. The Lions look shitty in a lot of different ways. But I think the worst they looked was from guard to guard.
Yeah.
The Bears have to take advantage of that. They got to make that song go double platinum.
The Lions got 2 new starters on that interior, right? 2 new starters on that interior.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Ooh. Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
So from guard to guard, they did not look good.
No, and Michael was having his way. He was lined up on the interior and lined up over center and just having his way. Even if it didn't reflect in the stat box, he was hurrying Jared Goff on pretty much every snap.
Like I said, the Bears got to run that back. They got to make sure that type of issue for the Detroit Lions is something that you keep on repeat. That you keep that on repeat. Make sure that song goes triple vibranium in the hood. Can't let the Packers be the only one to take advantage of that. Deo, Javon, and I was hoping Grady talk about this because they all got good pressure for the most part against the Vikings. I was hoping to see that type of intensity. I was hoping to bring that type of noise to the Lions. With Taylor Decker being so far absent from practice, we have an opportunity for the Lions for the whole line to be straight booty cheeks. They could be vulnerable. Scale of 1 to 5, Q. How confident are you that the Bears' entire running game, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monunga, maybe even Caleb Williams, average more than 5 yards per carry?
That they average more than 5 yards per carry?
Yes. Scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you?
2. I don't have any faith in the run game right now. I know the Lions are a good front seven. I'm sorry. I know the Vikings are a very good front seven. I don't think the Lions front seven is as good. You got Aiden. He can't be at 100% yet. He's still ramping up and getting himself together. But you got DJ Reader and Tyleek on the interior for the Lions. They're not all pros, but they're sturdy against the run. They're professionals. They're good. After seeing what I saw in week one, I don't have any confidence to suggest the Bears average 5 yards per carry. Team averaging 5 yards per carry is one of the elite running offenses in the league, and probably have a good running quarterback as well who extends that average. But no, I'm not too confident the Bears would average 5 yards per carry. I feel like we're gonna need to create different ways to be effective on the ground. Maybe not necessarily 5 yards a carry, but be effective in short yardage situations. Hopefully Caleb can gash him when he gets out the pocket with some long runs too. Maybe some design quarterback runs.
This one's going to hit home for you. So scale of 1 to 5. I just talked about what the kind of issues the Detroit Lions are having on their line. I know you drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in one of those fantasy leagues. Scale of 1 to 5, your confidence level that the Detroit Lions can have a successful running attack against the Chicago Bears on Sunday.
3. They definitely have lots of issues in the offensive line on the interior. If Taylor Decker doesn't play, you're down 3 starters on the offensive line from last year. Jahmyr Gibbs is very dangerous on that fast surface in Detroit, so that's one thing to be aware of. At any time, Jahmyr Gibbs can take one to the house. So I would say a 3 because I don't anticipate the Lions' offensive line being able to dominate or manhandle the Bears' defensive line. So it comes down to, can Jahmyr Gibbs get a crease and get into the second level and start making people miss? So with the Lions is with the Bears' defensive line against the Lions' run game, I'm at about a 3.
Who do you think had a better rushing attack in their first game, Lions or Bears?
Both running attacks were pretty feeble. I would edge the Bears because Caleb Williams was able to get some long runs and gash the Lions, but those weren't even designed quarterback runs. But by default, the Bears, just because Caleb Williams carried them, and I think he had about 50 yards rushing, right? Caleb Williams led Bears
58.
and Lions in rushing. Yeah, because I don't think a Lions or Bears running back went over 35 yards.
No, DeAndre Swift had 50 yards himself. He had 53
He
yards.
did have 50. Okay. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs had about 24 or 28.
Jahmyr Gibbs had 9 attempts for 19 yards, 2.1 average.
And what did David Montgomery have, about 20, about the same?
King Dave, 11 carries, 25 yards, 2.3 average. The entire Detroit Lions team ended the game 2.1 yards per carry. The Bears, for contrast, 4.6 yards per carry.
Some of that is misleading. Caleb Williams had some long runs, so
a rush yard is a rush yard.
Rush yard is a rush yard. I'll take it all.
Hey, if you don't hold containment, that's on you, bro. Get these yards right in your mouth. Put the yards in your mouth.
Put the yards in your mouth.
Swallow this yard. To answer the question for myself, I'm optimistic the Bears can win the ground battle against Detroit. Just looking at the numbers, looking at how both teams looked against obviously not similar opponents, but the Vikings defense is formidable. They were, I think, the top 3 rushing defense last year. They were returning everybody in the front 7. Actually didn't return everybody in the front 7. They was missing a guy due to injury. The Green Bay Packers rush defense is pretty good as well. But the way the Lions was blocking left me no optimism to think that they can fix that in the span of 6 days. Versus what the Bears have. The Bears don't have that type of those type of question marks on their offensive line. Yes, I did just get off of Jonah Jackson's case. He can turn that around. He can fix that. He knows what he needs to do. He can be better. Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, they can be better in pushing up some holes. As far as running, we know what we're getting out of Braxton. And I'm going to shout him out. We've been on his case since he got drafted. Your boy, Darnell Wright, he was the best looking offensive lineman for the Bears.
He was.
In fact, and his rush blocking was looking very crisp, very, very violent. I can't say that. I can't say that for the Lions. Even though the Lions have the better rushers, you know how King Dave like to get out on us every time you see the Bears. And Jahmyr Gibbs is a star. I think top 3 running back in the league, if you ask me. But this Sunday, you won't be able to tell. You won't be able to tell because they're not going to look better than DeAndre Swift. I'm ready to stamp that.
Hey, Sewell didn't look good either. Now I understand that a lot of the reps he had were going up against Micah Parsons, but he didn't look particularly all pro-ish on Sunday.
Not at all. And that could just be a facet of playing a team that's as outmanned you right now. Scale of 1 to 5. Grady Jarrett's not playing. Are you more optimistic that the Lions can run all over the Bears on Sunday?
Grady Jarrett not playing doesn't too much worry me from a run defense point of view because I think his backup is very capable and sometimes even a better run defender, Cody Billings. Cody Billings is a big, stout guy at the point of attack, capable of taking on double teams. So from a run stopping standpoint, I'm not at all worried. What I am worried about is Grady Jarrett is able to. He's great at getting in those gaps. He's quick. He's instinctive as a pass rusher, has good counter moves. I'm more worried about the pass rusher side. Grady Jarrett is a much better all-around lineman, defensive tackle than Cody Billings. But as far as run stopping, Cody Billings will be fine. Cody and Dexter, they should be fine.
Let's go to the passing attack, including the quarterbacks. So Jared Goff himself, he kind of looked OC dependent. Still very accurate, 31 of 39 for 225 yards, but it was only averaging like 5 yards of completion. He had a pick, he had 1 tackle. Yeah. I mean, that could be because the Packers were just, they had shit locked down. I didn't really watch that game that close. I paid a lot of money for the tickets, so I'm all over the place. From that aspect, we had what Jared Goff produced. We already know the wide receivers.
He didn't have a lot of time, though.
The pass catchers.
I watched that game.
Yeah, he got sacked 5 times.
Oh, and they were on his ass
He got
too.
sacked.
Like they were on his ass. Like he was sacked 5 times, but the time in the pocket it wasn't there to look downfield and expose those corners from Green Bay. Because I don't think the corners from Green Bay are good. They're inexperienced, and I don't think they're not just inexperienced. I don't think they're good. But when the quarterback doesn't have time to throw, it doesn't matter how good the corners are. Receivers are getting deep downfield or into their routes.
Yeah, as you said, he didn't have time to really look downfield. You see Jahmyr Gibbs with 10 targets. David Montgomery, 4 targets. 14 targets to your running backs. You had Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 targets. Sam Laporta, 9 targets. It's a tight end. Even though I know Sam Laporta, he gets downfield. It's still a tight end. So you don't really have too much time to really make shit happen deep to James. James only had 5 targets. We're going to compare this to the Bears, how they looked on Monday. That Caleb Williams didn't get sacked. He didn't really get touched until the 4th quarter. Be that as it may. He didn't get touched to the 4th quarter. Even though Jonah Jackson was trying to get him touched, he got out of that jam. The Detroit Lions defense, they didn't really put too much pressure on Green Bay. Jordan Love didn't get touched at all. He get no sacks. They didn't make any splash plays in the backfield. Scale of 1 to 5. How confident are you that the Bears would have a better passing attack than the Detroit Lions come Sunday?
The Bears have a better passing attack. I actually do feel like the Bears will have a better passing attack. Caleb actually started off pretty good. One of the things that I was concerned about was the checkdowns. I don't know if the Vikings were covering things downfield well or if Caleb wasn't seeing things that well. I know there was one time where DJ Moore ran a corner post and it was against cover 2 and he was right in between the corner and safety and Caleb could have hit him. He didn't see it. Instead, he went to the check down. And there was another time where he missed DJ Moore. I think that was in the 4th quarter. Overall, I know Chicago was very angsty. Caleb didn't perform that bad. Like it's not the bench level performance that people are calling for. What he finished with 200 passing yards, 21 to 35.
Yeah, he just got over 200 like the last drive.
Yeah, 200 yards, 21 to 35. You like to see him be a little bit more accurate. You like to see him connect on some of those deep passes a little bit more. But this offense, this is the first year of this offense. I didn't expect them to just hit the ground running. You got a young quarterback, you got a first time head coach. Everybody's learned this offense. I think the Bears offense will get more cohesive every week. I think you'll notice it every week, and I think you'll notice them be better this week.
I think what you said right there, I want to sidebar. I don't think it was I don't think that was by design to hit all them check downs. Cause I mean, yeah, he started the game 10 for 10. They ended the first drive of the game with a touchdown. That's always good. I don't really want to nitpick a drive that ends in a touchdown, but it would have ended in a touchdown a lot sooner if he saw Rome on that, on that skinny post where he had the nickel, where he had a safety covering him all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the time Rome had broke, I think Caleb had already decided he was going to hit the who was it? The tight end? I think it was Colston. Oh no, it was Zacchaeus in the middle of the field for like just at the sticks. Again, I don't want to nitpick, but what you said, like I don't know if Caleb wasn't seeing things downfield. I think that was the case. He just wasn't. So it's a mixed bag with that. I don't want to sound like an apologist because I'm getting to the point where I don't want to. Well, I'm going to get on everybody's case with this team. I'm not giving anybody any excuses. This is not an excuse season. But for that same point, this is only week 2. You're going to have to. There's going to be some times where you're still learning the offense and getting comfortable behind that line. Obviously, again, Jonah was letting shit slide all night, so you're going to have to start trusting them guys and looking downfield. And
there are better things to get wet than your feet, but.
And to speak on that point about Caleb's feet, he got to keep his shit set. And we want to see him keep his shit set in the pocket. We don't want to see him rolling around trying to make things happen outside the pocket. We want to see less of that. I loved seeing it as a fan the first time I watched the game. Second time I watched the game, the shit was pissing me off. You should be in the pocket. You should be making some throws. Now, to his credit, there was one play. I forget where it was. He did stare down somebody that was in his grill, and he put a dart on who was it? Who caught that pass? I think it was Cole Kmet or somebody like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I think he got. Yeah, I think
he drew more of that.
Unfortunately, he drew a 15-yard penalty too, didn't he? Is that the same play?
No,
that's not the same play.
So.
That's not. Yeah, you're right. That's not the same play.
Oh, just to that point. I do think it's on a trend in a better direction. Not to say it was all bad, because there's football games are 60 minutes. I know how sports media is, especially in a market like Chicago, especially surrounding the aura of Caleb Williams. Everybody's going to run to the negative, especially when you blow a game like that. And he had the type of accuracy issues that he had in the second half. But that does not negate what he did in the first half. 13 of 16 in the first half. What a tutty, right? Well, touchdown he ran in. He was looking the part, and he had some amazing throws, especially just that one he had on the sideline with Roma Duze. I don't think I've ever said about Jared Goff, man, that was an amazing throw. I don't think I've ever said that. Even when he was going to the Super Bowl in LA, I don't think I ever said amazing throw by Jared Goff. I just think, he's pretty good. He's a number 1 pick. I mean, sunshine. He's got a great offense built up around him in both places, LA and Detroit. But I've never said, like, you know what? That's the cog to that machine. Like, they're nothing without Jared Goff. I have never said that.
He's always been a great operator of an offense and a great game manager. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, that's a little pejorative, don't you think?
Well, not great.
Yeah, no, there's definitely something wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think he's a step ahead of, game manager tends to be a little pejorative, but sometimes it's facts. I don't know if it's facts for him. I just think he's all right. I'm not going too far with that. Versus Caleb, I see the spark. if we can only keep his feet from getting a little happy and doing some, and getting outside the pocket, try to make it up on your own. If we can just get him to, stick to the script or, stay on schedule, as Ben would say, we could be all right. He could be a legend. He could be a GOAT if he just do a little bit more of that and a little less of being Caleb. You know what I mean? You already said you expect the Bears passing offense to be better than the Lions. I agree with you. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 on that one. I just don't think, again, based on what I saw against Detroit can't but based on what I saw against Green Bay can't be that cold. I refuse to believe they that cold. They can just take an offense that was that cold last year, a 15-win team, a 15-win team with an offense as great as they had last year, and mollywop them like that, getting on the flu flops like that. No, there's an issue with the Detroit offense right now, and maybe it's just they're just getting their feet wet with their new offensive coordinator, new wide receiver coach. Maybe it's just that. We can just write it off to that. But that's going to take some time, right? That's going to take some time for them to get their system back right for where their talent suggests they should be. Same thing with the Bears, but I think the Bears are further ahead based on what I saw in their first game against Minnesota, a good defense. So I got the Bears winning that particular matchup, passing offense against the Detroit. Let's go. Should we talk about special teams? I think we should, seeing as how we got Cairo Santos can't hit a 50-yarder, which pretty much kicked off the comeback.
It definitely did. Momentum changer. Field position changer.
We ain't got to stick too much on that because it's just special teams. So Cairo, they send you out there to kick the ball, hit the field goal. That's it. You did it. You hit it, what, a 57-yarder in the preseason against Miami?
50-yarders are layups now. 50-yard field goals are layups now. This is 2025.
Right. Pittsburgh Steelers would be 0-1 right now if Boswell hit a 60-yarder on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's one more thing. I'm gonna let that lead into the last thing I want to talk about previewing this game: coaching. If your kicker can't hit a 50-yarder, why would you send him out there to kick to do the kickoff, which is at least 75 yards away? If he can't hit the 50-yarder, he can't kick the ball out the end zone, which is 75 yards away. So that was an error in judgment on the part of Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell versus Ben Johnson. Who do you see has the edge in that little matchup of coaching decisions?
Ben Johnson versus Campbell, just head-to-head, or the Bears staff versus the Lions staff? I just want to be clear.
It is more fair to say Bears staff versus Lions staff, but we don't really know the Lions staff like that. But we know Man Campbell. We know the decisions he makes as a head coach. So I'm gonna just keep it to head coach, just to give it a fair shake.
So I'm a big believer in Ben Johnson. I think when it's all said and done, he will be one of the legendary coaches in Bears history. I think this is the guy not just from an offensive standpoint, but from a culture changing standpoint to lead the Bears into a favorable era of Bears football. That being said, he is a first-time head coach. Dan Campbell, while not known as a offensive guru or a top defensive mind, is a CEO of two consecutive division winning team. He's a CEO, he's a head coach of a 15-win team. So until Ben Johnson proves otherwise, I'm going to give Dan Campbell the advantage for now in the head coach matchup. One-on-one, I'm going to give Campbell the advantage.
So one of the things Ben Johnson did Monday that it didn't work in his favor. I think, getting on the coach's butt for this in week one, especially in the point of the game that it was, going for that on that fourth down decision that he had.
Yeah.
That is a Man Campbell special. Man Campbell has gone for them fourth downs and had egg on his face plenty of times, and it came up successful just as many times. So with just on decision making alone, I like the fact that Man Campbell is a risk taker, but I also know that that's, two sides to every coin. That's a 50-50 shot. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. I would think Ben would be a little more cerebral in his approach to the game coming in on Sunday, just because of he had to get his hands slapped. The fourth down decision, the decision to send Kyra out there to kick the ball out of bounds, something he clearly can't do, or not instructing him to kick the ball out of bounds. Just those type of things right there. Like, all right, I got to be better. He said as much. He has to be better. I would assume that he will be better. I have no reason to believe he won't be better. But I know where Man Campbell is. I know where he stands. I know what he's going to do in pretty much damn near every situation. I'm going to edge Ben Johnson in this regard of who got the edge on the head coaching edge for the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. All right, Q. Time to shine. We need a score prediction.
Score prediction. Even before the season, I waffled back and forth, but something has constantly told me that the Bears go into Detroit and beat the Lions. I just feel like this will be Ben Johnson's homecoming, just like J.J. McCarthy had his homecoming last week. I'm going to go Bears. I'm going to go Bears 27-20.
27-20. The offense has a show, huh? Defense, not so much. Okay.
No,
Q, I got a question.
late score. No. The defense plays a consistent game. The Lions, holding the Lions to 20 points is still good if they're the same offense that they were last year. So I think if you hold the Lions with that collection of talent to 20 points, I think you've done a good job.
Okay. You got who's the fantasy star? Either team.
The fantasy star, either team. I think Caleb has a big game. Has a big game. I think we see Colston Loveland sightings. I think he has a couple big catches down that seam.
And another homecoming of sorts, Michigan.
I go with Caleb.
All right, Q. I got a question. What do the Ravens? What do the Texans? What do the Chiefs and the Bears all have in common?
The Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, and Bears, right? All 0-1.
All 0-1. And you know what that means?
What's that mean?
Being 1-0 is overrated, right?
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder. Because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites. At participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Okay.
All four of those teams are 0-1. Being 1-0 is overrated. The real ones is 0-1. That's how we gonna view this season. We getting it out the mud. All four of them teams. We naming this season Trench Time.
Shout out to Lamar. Didn't he say he'd rather get it out the mud 0-1? Was that Lamar that said that?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I'm with him. Let's get it out the mud.
We getting it out the mud. You know where the Ravens are going to be at the end of the season. You know where the Chiefs going to be at the end of the season. And you know what? The Bears going to be right there with them. We're getting it out the trenches. I saw that the Bears was a 6-point dog going to see a team that Bear could score 6 points
Score 6
last
points.
week.
Score 6 points. It was 6-point dog to them. Make it make sense.
Exactly. It don't make sense. They can't even make a good argument for that. And for that very reason, Bears going upside their head. Bears 27, Lions 14. And they build them. Bear down.
Giving them the belt in Detroit.
A thick leather one across wet cheeks.
Bear down.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say 3 things. Bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.